What's going on, y'all? What's happening? I am back at it again, man. I'm just pulling out of McDonald's, man. I know that ain't the healthiest thing to eat. It's okay. It's all right. I didn't go all out, man. I got what I usually get. I got a chicken McGriddle and a little soda. That's about it. But anyway, man, look. We headed back toward the Delta. Well, actually, we're in Yazoo City, Mississippi right now. I'm gonna be doubling back to come back to Yazoo because I have some clients up here that I need to get them situated. So that's what we'll be doing today. Our first stop is in Belzona. I owe that lady 2 computers, 2 desktop setups. We're gonna knock that out, and then I have to, as I mentioned, come back through Yazoo City and drop off a desktop up here. The whole mission today is to get that done, man. We got to make something positive happen. We always looking for that. But I tell you something now. You know, as I drive along, most of the time when deliveries are done, it's me. I do those myself. Even though my daughter helps out with a lot of the other things that I do, the deliveries I do myself because I want them to talk to me if they have any concerns, any difficulties. It's better that they hear directly from me. So I think that'll be the way that we can grow. Okay, personal involvement, especially if it's your business, man. Be involved. You know, don't allow other people to speak for you. Speak for yourself. Get to know your customers and your clients, and you'll build a rapport. Okay. Well, having said that, man, the morning has been going well, and I was just listening to the radio for a little while, and I ran across this segment that they were talking about a new term, and the term kind of grabbed my attention. They were talking about something called roaching. I never heard of it before, but hey, you know, that's not anything new. I'm an old guy, so you know, I'm not up on latest terms and lingo. But anyway, as the conversation went on, they described roaching as a person who meets someone new, starts to develop a relationship with them, but all the while they have several other partners, and so they calling it roaching. Well, you know, back in the day they used to refer to you as a player if you did that, as a pimp of sorts. But I can understand now why it has a negative connotation, man. Because really, you know, if that's the life that you about, man, why hide it? It's not necessary to hide it, because there are people out there that feel the same way about things that you do. There are people that don't, but there are people that also agree with it. So we talked to a guy on the podcast, on CJ's podcast. We did an interview with a gentleman who believed in polygamy. The guy was married, and his wife saw other men and he saw other women. Now, yeah, that's his name, Mr. Lucario. So Mr. Lucario was all right with it. So why would it be, you know, a need to hide things? Be upfront, and if a person is not in agreement, then hey, you know, you got your answer. But if they are, then I guess y'all can work something out. Now, I'm not one to encourage that. You know me, I'm all about responsibility. I'm all about accountability. So I feel like one man and one woman is enough. You know, you can spend a lifetime with a person and never know everything about them. So why divide your time among several women or several men? It just doesn't make sense to me. But now I tell you what, y'all give me a second, I'll be right back. I got to run in Walmart because I got to get 2 wireless keyboard and mouse combos. I always get those 2 confused. And I'll be right back, okay? Peace. All right. Well, we are, let me turn this air down a little bit because of the noise. We just finished up in Belzona. We got the last 2 deliveries for that particular adult daycare done, and we are headed to Yazoo City, Mississippi. Day has been going quite well, you all. I have to admit, I was able to stop by and check on my sister and my mom, so everything is good. Just wanted to make sure there wasn't no damage that needed to be repaired or anything like that, because little known fact about me, I am a person that loves tools, and I love to work with tools. So even though I'm an electrical engineer by trade, I still like to work with my hands, man. If it's a situation that calls for it, I am not afraid to roll my sleeves up and get on in there, especially when it comes to my family members. So I think the last thing we left off with is the roaching. But now really, in all actuality, what it is a reflection of where our moral compass has finally landed us. You know, most of the time when you look at things, you look at how people conduct themselves over time, it would seem in our community and a whole lot of other communities that our standards have ceased to exist, right? Where it might have been difficult to maintain, you know, a positive relationship with individuals in the past, people are just not concerned about that now. The only thing they're concerned about is what they can gain from a person, how they can benefit, and then most of the time they're never concerned about what can they give, who can they help, you know, things that are going to enrich your life and the way that you live. People don't even consider those kinds of things. They're not interested in that. If it doesn't have any direct effect on me for the good, then I don't want to be involved. Even though it's a known fact that it's better to give than to receive. Because a lot of people, that's another standard that people don't adhere to. And it looks like all of the standards that help us to be upstanding and respectable, we just took those standards and just threw them to the wind. Because now in a situation where you have a situation where you have an individual, let's say for instance it's a young man. I deal heavily with the men, so let's say for instance it was a young man. And the young man happened to meet someone that he was interested in. And so he began to court her, to, you know, lavish her with gifts and things of that sort to let her know that he's interested in her. But then secretly, in the back of his mind, he's entertaining the thoughts of other women also. Not only entertaining, but he's in a relationship with these other women, right? Now, apart from the obvious, apart from that being wrong from a moral standpoint, that being dishonest, why is it that individuals feel nowadays that the most important thing in life for them is to gratify themselves? That's the only thing they're interested in. Things that they want, not necessarily what they need, because if you are attending to your needs, then that promotes balance. But all of these things that these people want, and they want them right now, and the only thing that they're concerned about is getting their wants worked out for them. You see what kind of society that creates? People who are concerned about only themselves. That's the reason why you see so many situations where people are going without, or so many situations where you wonder to yourself, I wonder why there's no one around to help this particular individual. Could it be that in the past they had exhibited a selfish attitude? Because most of the time, if a person is selfish, you know, you don't have many friends. You don't have many people around you that can help you, because that's the, I guess that's the poison to a good relationship. Selfishness. You can kill a good relationship, whether it's a friendship or whether it's a relationship that'll lead to marriage later on. You can kill a good relationship with selfishness. Because if you're selfish, then that means you have no interest in that other person. And if you don't have any interest in them, why are they there? You're getting what you need, but they're not. So this whole roaching situation, man, is something foreign to me. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, I'm an old guy. So those kinds of values, those kinds of thought processes, man, I don't submit myself to those things, man. I don't really care. Because to be honest with you, if you're involved in a situation where you are being openly deceptive, if you're involved in a situation where you have people walking around under the delusion that you're one person and you're actually somebody else, then me and you are not going to get along anyway. And so this thought of roaching being foreign is something that's logical, because I don't live my life that way, and I don't subscribe to anybody live their life that way. You waste a lot of time and a lot of energy trying to keep up a facade, trying to keep a lie going when it would be easier just to tell the truth. Because now listen, in some cases the truth, it's going to hurt. In some cases, the people who you're being truthful with, sometimes you have to tell the hard truth. And the hard truth calls for some element of negativity, but the overall message is one where you're trying to help this person to become better than who they are. I'd take that any day over a lie. I would. Because after the person is discovered to be a liar, you lose all respect for them. And then you go back in your mind and you're trying to recount everything that this person had said to you so that you can verify that it was true. See, liars can put you in situations that you didn't need to be in the first place because they weren't honest with you. They didn't level with you. They didn't put you in a position where you had all the facts. And anytime you don't have all the facts, the decision that you make is going to be the wrong one. And so you suffer as a result. So now I don't have no sympathy for liars. None at all. When you could just tell the truth. As I mentioned before, I don't condone that particular lifestyle. But if the person is telling the truth and putting everything out there at the beginning, see, there are no surprises. You can't say he's a liar. Now, you can say a couple of other things about a person, who chooses to roach, but you can't say he's a liar because he told you in the beginning what it was. And so either you accept it or you don't. So now another thing too, man. As I'm riding, a lot of times I'm just thinking about things, taking things into consideration. I was looking at my daughter yesterday, man. She got off the bus, came home, did her homework and things, and I cooked the dinner for her. Listen, just a sidebar. These country boys, right? Guys from down south, man, don't play with us when it comes to that cooking now. Fry some chicken up, right? Or cook some cornbread. Yeah, hey, listen, we on deck. We on deck with it. All right? Shout out to Jamal Sanderson, man. That's my homeboy Chopper. Shout out to him, man. We do this all the time. Now look, listen, he a little bit better than me because I just took my apron back out. I just started, because me and him used to cook all the time in college. A lot of times that's how we paid rent. So it was serious. But I just dust my apron out and I cooked a little something for her because she wanted some chicken Alfredo. Ain't no problem. We got you. But now back to what I was saying, because I'll go off on a tangent in a minute. But I was looking at my daughter, man, and I was thinking to myself how difficult it must be to grow up and in this time period, man, how difficult it must be. Because I know things are drastically different at school than they are at home. Because now with me, there's reassurance, there's love. As a single father, I try to make sure that she's good to go on all fronts. I have to. Even if that means when she comes home from school, I have to spend 30 minutes listening to the reason why her and one of her friends was upset at another person because they didn't see things eye to eye. And I'm going to tell you something, that kind of conversation can be taxing at times, especially when you're tired yourself, but I put forth the effort to make sure I listen to it. Sorry for that cut off last video. Evidently the phone overheated. I've never heard of that, but hey, first time for everything. So yeah, man, we just finished up that delivery that we had to do in Yazoo City. Now I did something special for that particular delivery. Now even though this is a well-recognized program all over the United States, people are a bit skeptical. I talked about that the last vlog that we did. They're skeptical because who gives away a computer, especially to someone with a disability? So what I like to do is I like to lay the groundwork by delivering one the first time I go. I know you're thinking, you're saying, man, that's a waste of gas and time. But now here's the thought process behind it. If I deliver one and the person is able to get the computer, set the computer up, and it works well, then what happens is now you're building a buzz. You're saying, okay, all right, that means I can get one. And that's exactly what I want the rest of the individuals in this particular adult daycare to think. They say, okay, that means I can get one now. And that's the truth of it. They absolutely can. They can get one. That's how I want them to feel. So that's what we just did. We just dropped off one. That was it. And in doing that, man, hopefully the rest of the clients that are there will take advantage of it too, because that's what the program is all about, man. That's what the program is about. They're trying to help individuals, especially in the Delta in Mississippi. They're trying to help them to be better acquainted with technology, because there is a gap. There's a gap. And I was listening to the radio this morning, and they commented on the gap between lower income families and families who have an income of $100,000 or more. Then see, they are able to have tablets and laptops and desktops, smartphones. But then the lower income families, they're not fortunate enough to have all of those things. But I think that's an important cause. I really do. Because now, one thing about it, I'll say this: if you can't physically go to a place, or if you're trapped in your surroundings, then you'll never know what the outside world is like. And I think for the most part, technology can introduce them to that. Not just the TV per se, but being able to research different areas, being able to look at different areas, being able to compare on a positive note, to be able to compare your lifestyle to the lifestyle of those around you that might live in other places. So really what it does is it gives a person somewhat of a world view instead of a small, minuscule view that comes with living in a small area. Because most of the towns that I go to, they're small towns. They're small towns, and the economies in those towns are they leave a lot to be imagined. And so, it's a rough thing to go in some places and deliver computers that I rebuilt, is because the living standard, man, is it's a difficult thing to see. I'll just put it to you like that. I've gone into some places, some homes, and I'm saying to myself as I'm going in that there should be no one staying here. But then when you get there, it's a whole family that's living there. So what we're trying to do is trying to help people to see that there's more to life than their immediate surroundings. And like I said, I think that's a noteworthy cause. I really do. Because if you don't know that there's something else out there that might be better for you, then man, you'll never reach out for it. You'll never reach out to get it. So I'm in agreement. Another reason why I take a lot of pride in what I do is because a lot of these families, especially during the pandemic, a lot of these families are struggling, and then on top of that, they have to come up with equipment for their children to take school online. So now think about that. The average laptop that you would need, just for, let's say it's a Chromebook. The average Chromebook that you would need would be between $150 and $250, right? And if a person is already strapped, because a lot of individuals have lost their jobs, a lot of them have lost income that would usually come in for the family, do they have that $150 to $250 to give? And so a lot of times what happens is, I noticed it, I don't have a problem with it. There may be someone in the family that has a disability. They signed up for the program. They're older. Maybe they're a grandmother or a grandfather. They signed up for the program. They receive the computer, and the first thing they do is get that computer to their grandkids so that they can go to school. So, it's a program, I think that's an indirect benefit of it. But I tell them all the time, I say, listen, after you sign off for this particular device, it's yours to do what you want with it. So if you give it to your granddaughter, or you give it to your grandson, or maybe you have some grandchildren that are going away to college, you can do that too. It's absolutely fine. I don't have any problem with that. Because the nature of the contract is that we place it with that individual. And after it's been placed, then it's their responsibility, after we placed it with them, to do what they will with it. So I think that's, like I said, that's one of the offshoots that benefits individuals that have a disability. They can help their family members. There's a lot of gentlemen and ladies that I deliver to be honest with you, they don't know how to use them anyway. So they get their grandchildren to come over and set it up, or whatever needs to be done, or I'll set it up, whatever needs to be done, we try to get them to the point where they can use the device. Okay? So as I mentioned, man, I said it earlier, the day has gone wonderfully. It really has. I was able to get some more tools that I needed, some more connections, cords, things of that sort. And it really has gone well. So as always, man, listen, I'm thankful that you all could come along with me, man, on this little trip that we took today. I try to at least do one vlog a week. That's what I'm going to try to do. Don't hold me to that, man, because sometimes I get extremely busy and I forget to record what I'm doing. So in those particular cases, they don't begrudge me. All right? Now before I go, I wanted to say something, man, to give a little bit of encouragement, man. I have a friend named CJ Cowles, and as I mentioned, man, he goes by the High Value Nurse on YouTube, and we on Fridays usually we do a panel. Sometimes during the week we do a panel discussion. I just wanted to send a shout out to that brother because he is one of the hardest working brothers that I know. And Chris and Caprice, those are very, very feminine ladies, ladies who really exemplify what it means to be supportive and what it means to really put others before yourself. I just wanted to give a shout out to them, man. A lot of times I forget to do it, but that's family. So I want to take some time to, show some love to them. I hope that the rest of the week goes well. I hope the rest of the week goes well for you too. As I mentioned, I'm grateful that you came along with me for this trip. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Be easy.